Hey people.
Hello.
See, she can talk. Okay, today Scarlet and I are coming together to produce a amazing and wonderful show for you. See how nice that sounded? Um, we're going to talk about spirits, fear when it comes to spirit work, and anything, pretty much whatever the fuck we want to talk about, we're going to talk about. We just needed something to go by, and, well, spirits is a very popular topic, and a lot of people, well, I guess the majority of people that I have come in contact with really don't know what they're doing at all. And they think you like my mask here? Um, they think that they are communicating. Oh, okay. Sorry. But they just think that they're communicating with spirits and they're not. I had some kid think that he was the goddess Hecate, and in a past life, okay, and the Morrigan or Morgan Le Fay, I don't remember which one, probably both, in this life, who also gave birth on the astral to like demon spawn or something,
Wow.
because spirits talked to him, and he worked with spirits, and so that's yeah. So you're not always talking to spirit, and if you don't know proper discernment, you can be given birth on the astral, be knocking some astral things up or getting knocked up. And yeah, I don't even.
There was an admin once. She said, I forgot how old she said she was, but she said that her mother was Lilith and her father was Lucifer, and she herself had purple wings and a purple tail. Yep. What was I supposed to say to that? I mean, yay for you! You got purple wings.
I want blue and green. I want a blue tail. That would be amazing.
Yeah.
Um,
She was like 500 years old or something like that. I was like, okay,
huh.
yeah.
I guess we can start. That's why it's so important when you're working with spirit to ask questions, because they can come in and you can attract different types of entities, tricksters and different things like that, and you're thinking that you're talking to a specific spirit when in actuality you're not, and so they can trick you and get you to do things that you shouldn't be doing or you don't want to do. Um, and that also comes into fear, because people they're scared of coming in contact with stuff like that, so they trust the first thing that comes to them when it says it's good, you know.
Yeah.
So something good can come at you and say, oh yeah, I'm gonna bless you with, yada yada yada, 10 wives, that's too many, 2 husbands, that's too many, and 5 golden rings, blah blah. And so they start getting all these positive things, and they just trust. They don't really do any discernment. They don't ask questions. They just latch onto, oh, I'm getting some good feedback. I'm getting good experiences, because they are too scared to ask questions, because they don't want this good thing, supposedly good thing, to be bad. And so in the long run, this bad energy, negative spirit or trickster, so I guess it's not bad per se. It's doing its role. Um, it feeds off the practitioner.
Yeah.
But yeah.
It's like, well, not just for new people, but, people who are experienced with it. When a new spirit comes in, you should take time to get to know that spirit. Like you said, ask questions, because you don't want just anybody coming in. And I think that's what people are afraid of. They don't want to let anything in, or they want to let any type of spirit in because they don't know what's going to happen. But they could possibly be missing out on working with a really good spirit. But then there's the other people who, well, I work with this person and I work with that person. I do this and I do that. I think those people are the ones that are going to attract all the negative to themselves because they think it's a game.
Right. So let's say you've had new spirits come to you
Yes.
recently.
Mm-hmm.
So when they do, what kind of questions or what do you do to kind of figure out if that's actually who they are and if you want to work with them?
Well, this time around, I ignored them more than I do any other new spirit. The more that I ignored them, the more persistent they got. And my head was hurting for days. And I was outside. Um, I had done some work myself, and I went to go put it out into the east to get rid of it, let it go out to the universe, and they're following me, yelling at me. So I was like, okay, if they're that persistent, I'm going to sit here and figure out who they are. Well, my uncle, he passed away in 2007, and he is one of my familiar spirits, and he is always around, and he's always watching out for me and all that stuff. So I sat down, I talked with him, and he's all, it's okay, they're here to help you, they're here for good, and it's nothing bad. So then I meditated on that just to see if I got any more visions or pictures, and just so I know. I mean, it's like I have to prepare myself. I have to get as much facts as I possibly can before I just like, oh, hey, you want to come into my house? I mean,
Right.
no. So
Want
it
to
took me
play?
forever, and they were really persistent. I mean, those are probably the two most persistent spirits I've worked with in a long time. And since I let them in and I invited them into my home and to work with me, they are constantly up my ass. Let me breathe, back
Right.
up. I hear, and if I don't listen to them right away when they're saying something, they get really antsy. And it's like, did you hear me? Did you hear me? Did you hear what I said? Yes, I heard you. Give me a minute to, bring it all in and think about it. Don't. But they're always there. They're always hovering. Um, I guess the difference between them and other spirits who are just, I guess, passing through.
Mm-hmm.
They're not really persistent. They don't even try to get my attention. It's like they're trying to be more sneaky,
Right.
tiptoeing around. So it's like, okay, I just let them do what they're doing, but I still keep an eye on them. But I mean, I like working with spirits. I always have liked working with spirits. It's just you have to develop the trust and the relationship, ask questions first before you just allow them to totally come in and take over. Because if you do that, I mean, it could be one hell of a spirit that's coming into you.
Right.
Your home, and it's going to ruin everything. So you got to take the time to develop that trust and relationship first.
Absolutely. And just because you have a relationship with a spirit and you're getting good feedback, that doesn't mean that it's always going to be good. So that's why, like you said, it's really great to develop with anything, to develop a relationship, to know how you feel. You should always pay attention to how you feel, because that will help you a lot just in discernment. Um, I totally lost train of thought. But yeah, it's people just need to start asking more questions, paying more attention to what's going on around them, and stop taking spirit at face value.
Yeah.
Um, what else were we going to talk about? Oh, shadow people.
Yes, yes, yes. Shadow people. Shadow people for me are not bad. I guess it's just a pet peeve of mine when so many people are saying, oh, there was a shadow person in my house, and oh my god, it's so evil, how do I get rid of it? I'm sorry, but I think that's a bunch of bullshit. Just, my uncle comes to me as a shadow. My grandma has come to me as a shadow. They are the most loving spirits I've ever dealt with. And I think people get scared of the word shadow
Mm-hmm.
and just automatically assume that it's bad. Because I've had bad spirits come to me, and I don't see them as shadows. I see them as full figures, just like I do any other spirits. So I guess it's just annoying. And like I said, a big pet peeve when everybody's like, oh, shadow people, they're evil, and you got to cleanse your house and get rid of them and sage. But no. It's like, and I know that they're probably hearing it from, articles online or other people, and you can't just take what you hear or read and run with it. You should research it. And if you're experiencing a shadow person, you should judge that experience yourself, not listen to what other people are saying.
Right, I think it makes it even worse. Like, okay, this person's, and they might not even be used to working with spirit, so they see a shadow person, and automatically it just gives them chills, and they freak out because it's not something that they're used to, and they have this preconceived idea that all shadow people are just horrible, they're crazy, they're going to steal your children, eat your soul if you have one, they're going to do all these things, and then so they Google, and they look up shadow people, and there's just so much scary, like, they try and scare you, and that feeds it, that feeds the practitioner, that feeds the witch, which feeds the spirit, and that spirit, it might have been nice and mean well, but you're offending it.
Yep.
And then you're giving fear to that spirit. And they're feeding off that. So that when they're in spirit and you have that fear, you have that energy that you send them, you kind of feed that to them. That also kind of shifts them. Just like in reality, like if you were like scared shitless and I was with you, I would probably start to be worried and scared as well. We would be feeding each other. Even though at first I might have not been, but if you're scared, I'm like, oh my god, what the fuck's going on?
What is she seeing? I'm not seeing it.
Yeah, it's just, so I have never, I'm not going to say that all shadow people are good or all shadows are bad, but in my experience, I've never met a shadow person that was what all these people say. I've had a few people come to me, they had shadow people, and then upon more like investigation, asking questions, meditating, journeying, doing all the stuff that you need to do to kind of get answers, come to find out that it wasn't even a shadow person. It was just a spirit trying to make contact, and it wasn't negative, but it was only feeding off of the energy in the house. And trying to make that contact. Spirits have to, some depending, but lower their vibration to be present here. So it's hard for some spirits to make themselves fully physical, to be experienced. And if the witch is scared, like if they have some belief from whatever that prevents them from seeing, the only way they might be able to recognize a spirit is just in shadow form.
Yeah. I've had some clients, or even people that weren't clients at the time, message me and say, okay, I have a spirit, I think, in one of the rooms in my apartment or my house, and it's a shadow. How do I get rid of it? And I always ask first, does it feel negative?
Right.
What does it feel like to you? Well, I don't know. I said, well, do you feel scared or threatened in any way? Well, no. Well, then just leave it for the time being. Just feel it out. Ask questions if you can. Feel it out. Don't be so quick to get rid of them. And most of those people would ask me, oh, so you're just telling me just to leave a spirit in my house? Well, if you don't feel threatened or scared or doesn't feel negative in any way, why do you want to get rid of it? Maybe it's there to help you. It's there for a reason, find out what it's there for.
Yeah, and people, the automatic thing is like they want to get rid of something. It's like, okay, I understand that, because it's like, oh, there's a spooky in my house and I'm running around naked and it's looking at me. But ask questions before you automatically want to get rid of them. Find out what their purpose is. Maybe they want to help. Maybe they need your help. And before you
Mhm.
piss them off and just, say, get the hell out of my house, ask questions, figure out what they want, like you said, and you might learn an amazing lesson and have an amazing experience from that, you know?
And I had one of those people come back to me and say, well, I waited a little bit, like you said, and I didn't feel threatened or anything. I just felt, I guess, uneasy in my own home, like somebody was trying to barge in.
Mhm.
And I said, okay. She goes, I think I got rid of it, but then I think it came back and it got angry. I said, what'd you do? Well, I yelled at it. Wow. And I yelled at it, and things started happening, and a couple of things fell, and a cupboard or a door, and now it just feels weird. I'm like, well, why'd you yell at it? Don't yell at it. Communicate with it.
Yeah.
They were in human form once too before. Talk to them like they still are.
Right.
Well, I can't do that. Well, I'm not telling you how to get rid of it, so good luck.
Yeah, you need to. People don't realize that. Like, just because something's in spirit form does not mean that it deserves. Do not disrespect it
Mm-mm.
automatically, and also don't place it on a higher pedestal because it's in
Yeah.
spirit form. That
I
also
treat
can
them
get you in
equally.
trouble.
I treat them equally. Like
Yes.
I'm talking to another person, or I'm talking to a friend or a family member, I talk to them just like that. I
Right.
mean, I've had to get mean with a few spirits, but I mean, I didn't yell, but I was firm.
Right. Well,
I
just
think that's the difference between people. They don't know just to be firm and be like, look, this is my house. I will not tolerate this, and etc. Whatever. They just go off and get the hell out of my house. You're freaking me out, and that's just, like you said, they feed off of that, and that's
right.
exactly what they do.
Okay. Okay. Wouldn't you laugh though? Like if you're in someone's house and they just like all of a sudden get the hell out of my house, you're freaking me. Wouldn't you laugh? Like, bitch,
Yeah.
who the hell are you?
The hell?
What? Get out of your
We were
house.
just talking. What the hell happened?
I just need a cup of sugar, bitch. I'm like, you know what? You're pissing me off. I'm gonna fuck you up. And that happens. And in my experience, spirits tend to feel more intensely. This is funny. Like a lot on like the vampire shows on TV, when they become a vampire, their emotions are heightened. I have gotten that a lot with spirits. Like when they become spirits, they take things a little more intensely, and then they express themselves a little more intensely because they're still trying to figure out sometimes um, how to communicate in a better way. Sometimes they push too much, and it's like, bam, you get this overwhelming feeling. Uh, but I've never understood why people freak out at first, and then they start yelling like crazy. I have definitely had to get firm with spirits, and there may have been a time or two when I had to get a little crazy and be like, get the fuck out of my house. I'll fuck you up. I don't care if you're in spirit form. I'll put you in physical form and then I'll fuck you up. Don't piss me off. You might be spirit, but I'm here right now. We're going to go. But for me to get to that point, it has to be bad.
Yeah, it
I
takes
don't,
a lot to get to that point.
yeah, and I luckily haven't had to, but there's been a few times, but always start, in a respectful manner. You don't
Mhm.
disrespect the spirit without, even if there's cause, I still try not to disrespect because that's just me.
Yeah,
But communicate first, and if someone's gonna piss you off, they're gonna piss you off. But handle it like you'd handle a person.
exactly. Um, I also get, I don't know about you or not, but being a psychic medium is like you're a beacon of light.
Mm.
I see myself as like, a lighthouse, and they know where the hell I'm at. No matter where I'm at, they're there. They're coming. And I have gotten so many spirits that don't realize that they have passed over yet. And I think that's probably my hardest one to work with.
Yeah.
You know, because it's like, how do you tell somebody, well, you're dead, dude, what the hell?
What do you want
You
me to
know,
do
it's like
about
you
it?
try
You're
to lead
gone.
up to that, and they're like, well, I don't understand why I can't grab onto this, or so-and-so's not seeing me or hearing me, and it's like, I think those are the, like, most heartbreaking
Yeah.
situations with spirits. It's like, well, that really sucks. That
Yeah.
children really upset me.
Mm. Uh,
It's like, no,
you
I
know?
can't do that. Go away. Go somewhere else. Go to somebody else. I can't. Because, you know, being a mom and all, and you see,
Yeah.
little spirits, you're just like, oh, crap. And I
And their
have,
emotions are heightened, so you feel it. You feel it more because that's
yeah.
how they communicate. Telepathically and through the feelings. So it's worse.
Well, we had one not too long ago. It was uh, maybe 2, 3 months ago. And it was in the morning, and um, both of my daughters were up. So it was just us. Well, then the one went back to sleep because she had a headache. And so I'm in the living room, and my other daughter, she's in the dining room. And I happened to get like this glimpse of something walking past, and I look, and this goddamn spirit took the form of my daughter that was sleeping.
Oh no.
Like, and I just looked, and I'm like, oh no, 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 no. And then I stopped, and I felt it, and I'm like, that's not her energy, so I know it's not her.
That is so
I got
important.
up, and I ran to the room, and she's there sleeping, and then I walked out there, and I went to that spirit. I said, you can't do that.
Right.
You cannot take on the appearance of my children. You
Yeah.
cannot do that. Because that's
No.
like one of my fears is seeing my child in spirit form
Right.
before I go.
Right.
And I'm just like, no, no, don't you dare do that. That shit was not funny. And
No.
they apologized. And I'm just like, oh, don't do that shit again. And it got my other daughter to crying because she's like, not today. My sister's not dying today. And I'm like,
Oh.
she's okay. This jerk of a spirit
That.
wanted to play around. That was funny.
That
But
gives me
yeah,
the
that was,
chills.
oh, I hated that. And it took everything in me not to just scream at him.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, oh, you cannot do that. No.
And it's so hard because, like, and that
Yeah.
goes back to everything that we've been saying. It's like, which is why you ask questions, why you don't automatically freak out, because sometimes these spirits don't know. They don't realize the impact of what they're doing. So if you yell at them, then it's like when you yell at your kid, or when you yell at strangers, people freak out.
Yeah.
Oh, that gives me the chills, though.
Yeah.
For me, for me, like,
Yeah, I saw. I was like, oh shit, that's not her.
yeah. And again, like you said, you felt it, like you knew her energy. That wasn't her, which helped you to, like, okay, that's not her. I'm gonna go check on her. Blah blah.
Yeah.
But for someone who doesn't know what they feel like, who doesn't know what their surroundings feel like, someone who's not really in tune, which all witches should be, but there are many who are not, and so they wouldn't know how to interact with that situation because they wouldn't know how to tell the difference.
Yeah.
And that's scary because
It is.
so much can be prevented if people just actually start doing the work.
Yeah.
When I was, I mean, I've talked about it a little bit before, but when I was younger, I didn't get to witness the positive aspects of spirit. I had a lot of tormented energies come to me of the places that I lived. Just the energies that were attracted to me were not very nice looking. I had a child come to me, like, freaked me the fuck out. And I can't remember if I've talked about this before, but I was in the bathroom, like, just washing my face, and I could feel it above my head, like, just freaked me the fuck out and, like, jumped down. And I'm like, fuck no. I ran to my room. I went to bed. I'm like, this is not right. That you can't do that shit to me. And I was young, and so I've had those experiences, and that's why I still have a challenge today to actually see. but I've worked a lot to get that back. I can communicate. I know when spirit's here. I can talk. I feel. But seeing for me is really hard because of that experience, and it's just crazy. Which is why, again, you have to learn to trust how you feel, learn to connect, and don't freak out if you can. If you can help it, just don't freak out. Just say, okay, you're a spirit. What are we gonna do?
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah, freaking out doesn't help at all.
No, because then, well, a witch, like, you freak out, you feel it, they feel your energy, they're freaking out even more, or they're getting pissed off, so you feel that energy, so you're bringing all that into you, and it's just making the situation far worse than it is, than it needs to be.
I try so hard to, especially when it's one that does freak me out. As hard as it is, and I don't get to do it all the time, but when I see that, I try to take a deep breath and be like, okay, I can handle this. I got this.
Right.
I'm okay with that breath, but then it's like, shit, I gotta take another breath. Because
Like,
this thing is
hold on.
Hold on a minute. I gotta do it again.
Like, I gotta take a breather.
Schedule this day.
Can we pencil you in next week? Because
yeah,
I'm
not ready yet. But yeah, it's important to feel the difference of good and bad, and if anybody's had the same experience as me with my daughter, that spirit taking on her form, it's good to know the difference. You have to learn to feel the good, the negative, and your own. You got to know your children's or any other family members, right. Know their energy, because it'll help out a lot.
Absolutely, especially, again, because we're witches, we're talking to witches, so especially when you are of this path, because you are just like psychic mediums. You have this beacon of light, of energy attracted to you. When you walk on this earth, you walk in a presence that the spiritual world understands that you are not normal.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we're not. Witches are not normal. I'm sorry, but it's just there's different energies, and witches have a specific frequency, specific vibration, and so when they interact, all these spirits are attracted to that. You have to know how to discern what you are, your family members are. You have to know that, because if you don't, then you're really fucked.
Yeah.
Really badly. Not in a good way. No.
Mm-mm. No. And like we had talked about at the beginning, how people call or say that they work with that spirit or this spirit, and they're, especially the bad ones. I mean, do you really want to bring that into your life?
Right.
Because if you're sitting there telling, like, say, your friend, oh yeah, I contacted this type of spirit and I did this and I totally controlled him, and yeah, well, guess who's going to be coming knocking on your door to
Right.
test the theory? Because they will.
Right. Absolutely.
And don't be foolish. Don't do dumb things. Don't, unless you really want that kind of activity around you. But that's on you. I won't help you when you call me.
Nope. That is on you, and it makes it worse when you're a witch, because you already attract that. You're practicing magic, so you invite those spirits in. They're feeding off that energy. If they're around you, if you're working with spirits, you're practicing magic, those spirits are still around you. They feed off of that, so they're not going to go anywhere. Why would they want to go anywhere when you're feeding them? That's why you have to have good respect and communication with them, because they need to know their place, and you need to know yours with them. Yep. It's not like a disrespectful thing to say to someone that you need to know your place. It's just like the cousin that comes over. They are not going to stay all the time. They shouldn't be there. This is your house. They need to go home. You can come visit. You're here. You're welcome. But there's a time where they need to go and live their life.
Yeah.
Honestly, the same thing applies with spirit. There's nothing. There really isn't much difference, like, in the way you should handle things when it comes to spirits, than you would handle, like, normal, physical beings.
Yeah.
Uh,
But like the two, well, I should say three new ones that are here, I accommodate them, like be hospitable. Yeah, three. I'm hospitable with them, give them offerings, make them feel comfortable.
mhm.
But I feel that once they tell me or teach me or guide me the way that they need to and what their purpose is, they'll always be welcome back here, but I don't expect them to live with me forever.
No, that's crowded.
Oh, no.
Not
You
unless
need to.
not unless they're gonna give you some mansion where they got their own bedrooms. They got to do that for
Exactly.
you, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah, a mansion and throw in a butler and a maid.
There you go.
Then you can have your own room. But until then, you can stay a while, but you can't stay forever.
And that is so important because you don't hear that discussed anywhere. I don't hear anyone talk about that. It's like, yes, when you're building that relationship with that spirit or deity, you should work with them, you should house them. But once you build that firm foundation, that firm experience and understanding of each other, then it's time to say, okay, it's time for you to grow. Basically, kind of time for you to grow up, move out, and go back. And and you're always welcome here, but we need our space. And people don't talk about that.
No, and to some people, maybe with their deities, but working with spirits, whether they're new or familiar, you don't ever, well, I don't want to say ever, it's rare, that you hear them accommodating those spirits, as in offerings. Like, you got to know that spirit, did that spirit like coffee when they were alive, in physical form? Give them a cup of coffee. They're there to teach you and to help you, Don't be greedy and don't give them anything. Give them something in return for their time with you and what they're teaching you or what they're telling you.
Right, that builds respect. That's just,
yeah.
I was brought up that way, manners. Be hospitable to someone. If someone's in your house, if someone's helping you, then you take care of them. Offer them food, offer them drink, offer them whatever they need. Take care of them, and they will take care of you. And it just builds this good relationship. It builds this good connection. And a lot of people are so scared to work with spirits because they don't understand that these simple rules, these simple common sense rules. And it's like it's not, and that's why I think a lot of people have negative experiences with spirits because they're fucking rude. They are as hell.
They are. I had a friend, well, more of like acquaintance, that she goes, I have this deity. Actually, I think it was a saint. Actually, Saint Expedite.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I did one of his candle magic spell, and I was really clear with my intentions and all this stuff, and he isn't bringing it to me yet. I thought he was supposed to be, a fast worker. As for giving him anything, I hear he likes pound cake.
Exactly.
Well, no, I didn't think I had to give him anything. I'm like, well, how are you to expect to get something but not to give anything in return? I said, that's rude.
That is rude.
It's very rude. Don't ask a deity or a saint or a spirit or anything else for something if you can't give something back.
And what's funny?
Going to the store, you can't expect to go into a store and grab something without giving your money or, something.
Right. And
you can't do that. But yeah, Saint Expedite, she didn't give him anything, and she didn't give him his pound cake, so she didn't get her desires answered, and she was pretty upset about that and asked me why, and I'm like, well, you were a rude bitch. You didn't give him his pound cake.
Give the man his pound cake, damn it.
Exactly.
And you know what is so funny, though, is like, if you research Saint Expedite, everything says you have to offer him something. Maybe give him a half while it's being worked on and give him the full thing at the completion of it. But nowhere says to not offer him something. Saint Expedite is known, like, you ask him for something, you give him something, you honor him because he is going to do it.
Yeah,
It's
and
going to get done.
if he does do it, answer your wishes or your desires or whatever, you're all supposed to turn around when you receive that and thank him and talk about him publicly.
Yes.
Like, tell a couple of friends, be like, look, I worked with Saint Expedite, and this is what he came through for me, and you're supposed to give him public acknowledgement. He likes that. And the pound, I've read in so many places, and I've heard from so many friends, he has to have Sara Lee pound cake. Flowers and a glass of water. So give it to him. You can't ask, anybody or any deity or spirit for something and then not give back in return. But expect to get your $1 million.
Right. I think I'll ask for vodka, pizza, and maybe a chocolate cupcake.
Okay. Don't forget.
So when I go, if you want to work with me, you got to get me some vodka, and not just like a glass of vodka. I need the whole bottle.
The bottle.
I don't even know. People are witches.
They're dirt, people. Do buy it. Seriously. I've seen so many online shops that offered that for you to purchase. You don't know where that dirt's coming from.
Mm-mm.
So you're just going to buy some random person's dirt for $7 a bag, and you're going to spirits. No, don't do that. Please don't fall into that trap. Do not buy graveyard dirt from somebody you don't know, or at all. Go collect it yourself.
I completely agree, and we've talked about this a little bit before, but I've seen it lately again, like people selling graveyard dirt. And
yes,
stop. Who are these people that are selling it? Like, they should, if they're real practitioners who actually collected the graveyard dirt, they should know better.
Mm-hmm.
So what does it say about that store, about them that sell it? Although I was having a discussion with someone, and I can't remember who it was, but was it Dylan? Maybe it was. Anyways, I might consider purchasing dirt if it was collected outside, like at the gates or outside, but I would not. But then again, even at that, I'm still like, I don't know.
Yeah.
But I think I'd feel more comfortable with that versus someone going into the cemetery, probably not doing the right work to enter the cemetery, going to some grave, which it could be some murderous grandma, getting some dirt, and then selling it. No, that's scary.
It could just be dirt from their backyard, and they say, well, this is dirt from so-and-so's grave. Yeah, I'd rather just collect it myself. And you know how many people I hear or have even seen enter a cemetery without the proper payment? I'm like, what are you doing?
99. I really would say like 99% of the practitioners, okay, maybe that's too high, but whatever, who enter a cemetery don't enter properly, and they take back.
Yeah.
I mean, some of them will offer, but they don't enter the cemetery, and they don't, communicate with the spirit of the place. They don't get permission to do the working that they're doing. They just enter, and I actually have had a few clients come to me, and they have done their own thing, went to the cemetery, got their shit, and wondering why they are feeling sick, like the spiritual sickness. And I'm like, well,
I wonder why.
Did you ask for permission? Did you contact the spirit of the cemetery? Did you leave an offering at the gate? What did you do? No. Are we supposed to? Well, if you don't know if you're fucking supposed to do that, then don't be working with the cemetery shit, okay?
If you don't know what you're doing, why the hell are you entering the cemetery in the first place?
Ugh.
I always keep extra change with me in my truck. And I frequent the cemetery that's by us a lot, to the point where I've gotten to know the person that guards the gate. It's like, oh, hey, it's you again, and I give them whatever. And before it used to be just 3 pennies or 3/4, and now he's gotten to know me so well from going in there all the time. And he just asks for different things. Oh, well, can I have 1 penny, 1/4, 1 dime, or a variety of all? And I'm just like, whatever. But, I go into cemeteries not only to collect the dirt. There's the cemetery that I go to. It's such a lonely cemetery, and they don't get visitors. Their families don't visit them. Their families don't leave flowers. So I make it a point to visit probably at least twice every 2 weeks. I'll drive through or walk through, and yeah, I feel bad. They're just, I know that it's not them in the ground, it's their bodies, but still,
it's their
that
energy.
Their body is in the ground and nobody's visiting you anymore. That's sad.
It is sad, and it's not. It might not be their spirit, but their energy is attached to that place because their bones, their flesh, everything is in that earth right there. So a part of them is,
and
no matter what.
So sad. I'm just like, oh, they didn't get no visitors, and so the kids, they usually come with me. We make it a family thing to go to the cemetery and visit, and we've off headstones and left flowers or those little. I can't even think of the name. Those little windmills.
Oh, yeah.
Get at like the dollar store. We'll put them in there and stuff. And it's not always to collect dirt, but to do those other things, I think you should be able to, or you should develop that relationship with the keeper of the gates too,
Yeah, and
whatever spirit, but don't just walk in and be rude.
Right. That's like a huge message today is don't be a rude-ass bitch.
Yeah.
But what you said is important as well because just don't keep going to a cemetery to get something. You should visit it to offer it something without any expectation of receiving anything back. Because that puts you in a better alignment and a better agreement and a working relationship with that cemetery as a whole. Because they're going to be like, they keep coming and they want something. They keep wanting something. Yeah, they're offering me something, but they just keep taking it. I know I experience that a lot just with the work that I do with people. People they ask me. They want me to do something. They will do something for me sometimes, but they always want to take. And it doesn't feel good. So when you're going to a cemetery, you should go sometimes, just often, or once, not often, but once in a while, and just visit. Give them your time.
The cemetery that I go to, it's the outside of it is lined with willow trees. So especially in the summertime, I'll go and I'll just park in there, and I'll get out and I'll just sit with my back up against a tree and just sit there.
Yeah.
Meditate or just take in whatever, and they actually enjoy that because you're not coming in there to dig or to just continue to go and get something from them, even though you're leaving offerings. But it's like they think that you're sitting there visiting with them.
Right.
You're taking time out of your day to be with them.
Right. And they feel life, because a cemetery, it's death, It is death. There's some life in there, but when you, like one of us goes in there, it's like you activate things. You walk on that earth, and it comes up. That energy just comes up, and you activate a lot. You interact, and the witch's energy and the spirit of the place, the earth, we all connect, and it uplifts the whole atmosphere. And so they like that, You have that. It's just a beautiful thing because you're able to go into this place that's known for being a little more lethargic, more, underworld type stuff. There's a word, I can't even think of it, but it's just very, a lower vibration, I guess. Not a negative, but just very cold. And so when you have someone who comes in and spends time, it uplifts the whole atmosphere, and it changes the place, really. And so you build that relationship with the spirit of the place.
Yeah. It kind of reminds me of when kids, because my son, he does like little sing-alongs or whatever. They'll take him to the nursing home a couple times a year at school, and they sing for the residents of the nursing home. And if you've ever been into a nursing home, you can feel
Mm-hmm.
the heaviness of that energy. I mean, oh, I can't stand that.
No.
But
Mm-mm.
go in there, yeah, I know. When those kids go in and they sing for those people, those elderly people light up.
Yeah.
There's so much love and positivity and happiness, and to me, that's what it feels like when I go into a cemetery
Yeah.
and I visit. It feels like they're all smiling and they're like all uplifted and, oh, we got a visitor today, and like they're happy.
Aw, that just that
Don't do that.
oh no, that just reminds me because it's my grandma used to work at a place like that, and it's really sad to see hurt people. And a lot of older people that are in places like that, they're hurt because they don't get visitors, and they become very angry. And then you see kids who come in like that and they sing and they uplift it. That energy affects them, and so they're happy.
Mm-hmm.
But to know that a few days later they're going to go back to feeling the same way because they don't have their family or they don't have people to come in and do that for them often. So
That's so sad. I just don't understand how you can put your mother, father, grandma, whatever, into a nursing home and then never visit them again. What the hell is wrong with people? I told my kids, if you ever put me in a nursing home, you might as well just shoot me because I ain't staying there.
I'm going to break out.
Get it done and with. I don't want to be there.
Yeah.
Never visit me. You might as well just kill me now. That's gotta suck. That has got to be like, I don't even ever want to experience what they experience.
Yeah, and just going in there and feeling that I can't
that energy
even
is
describe.
Yeah.
It's horrible, and I can just talking about it. I can see those experiences. I can feel those people because I connected with them, and it's like, okay, no, it hurts.
Yeah, it does.
And as witches, we create change. We change all of this. We have the power to do that. And that's why we were chosen. That's why we are born to do what we do. And we need to stop wasting our power, not stop fearing communicating with spirits, and start interacting because spirits get forgot. People forget spirits, and it's what we were just talking about. If they get forgotten, it's sad. So work with them, build that relationship, help them to feel better, because if someone ignored you all the time and you were like standing right there and someone just ignored you, how would that make you feel? You'd be pissed off. And that's kind of why, some spirits are just, angry and they break shit because they're getting neglected.
They are. And like you said, even as spirits, they get ignored. And you hear family members all the time when that person passes away, oh, they're gone, but they're not forgotten. Well, I think they do get forgotten because with the spirits that I get coming to me, they are forgotten.
They are.
Unfortunately. And in the summertime and, fall time when we have a lot of bonfires outside, they'll be standing like off in the distance just watching, and me or my husband will invite them over. Hey, you come sit with us. And they run up so damn fast, they're so excited to be included. It's just a bonfire, but they got invited, they got included, and they feel so happy that they're not being ignored at that moment anymore.
And a huge part of witchcraft, a huge part of being who we are is doing that for and with spirit. Like that, you can't not be a witch, not work with, you can't be a witch and not work with spirit, where we work with spirits, witches work with spirits, where that's tied into who and what we are. It's just, that's what it is. And if you're a witch, or you say you're a witch and you don't work with spirits, you're missing out on a huge aspect, and you're denying yourself a huge part of who you are.
That who you are and what you do as a witch, like the work that you do. I could not imagine doing working even something as simple as candle magic without spirit. I could not imagine doing any work without a spirit. It would just right.
It's this huge process because we can't.
Incompetent or something. I wasn't doing it right.
Yeah,
Like,
it feels off,
it does.
and we can't. There's never a time that a witch is without spirit. So when if you're casting and you don't like work with the spirits around you or of the place, you're shutting yourself off from all that potential power. You're denying them their experience to help you and to just feel alive again. So it just, to me, it weakens the practitioner because they're denying themselves of a beautiful experience. It's just, I don't see how people
Great
can
experience.
claim to be a witch and
Yeah.
not do that.
I can't remember what I watched. It wasn't too long ago. Oh, God, what the hell was his name? I don't know. He's a psychic as well.
James Van Prague, was he
No.
short?
No.
John Edward?
Shit. Seriously? Okay, I know he's tall and he has darker hair, like brown. Oh.
Is he cute?
He's okay.
Oh, he's not cute.
But remember, and it still sticks with me, and this was years ago that I seen it the first time, but I saw like a recording of it the other day. He said that human beings only see 3% of what's really going on around them. 3%!
Yeah.
So, I mean, that is not a lot. And, I mean, that's for a normal human being. That's for people that don't see into other realms or work with spirits. But I've had witches or people that want to become witches have said to me, well, I don't think there's that many spirits out there for me to work with. And so I tell them, I'm like, you only know and only see 3% of what's really going on around you. You don't see all the other stuff. There's spirits everywhere.
Right.
And it's probably spirits sitting right next to you, you know? You don't know. And it's just, people are they're so scared, and it's like they want to learn, but yet they're scared, but then when they do work with them, it's in a disrespectful manner. They don't treat them like guests.
Right.
They treat them right,
Well, and if you think about it, I mean, every single herb has a spirit that oversees it. Every ingredient, everything has a spirit. So just add that on top of the people who have been alive and now no longer are physically present. They're still here. So there's so much. There's so many spirits. There's never a time or a place where there's no, like, a spirit activity. I know that you have to go soon because you have an appointment, a little shindig that you got to go. But so I want to make sure I talk about a few things. Okay, so if you want to start working with spirit and seeing spirit and having that connection, there's a lot of things you got to do. But if you want to have help, there's this tea. It's called Psychic Tea. I really love it, and I'm not just saying it because I love this one over here. Scarlet's Cauldron Psychic Tea. It is awesome. Like, I was kind of skeptical because I always am skeptical, but I know she knows her shit, so I'm like, okay, it has to be good, right? Well, yeah, it's better than that. So I tried it, and I'm like, I feel like I'm smoking a joint.
Oh, wow.
Not that I've ever done that before, you know. But it was like I'd be typing something and just kind of tuning in, and then I would notice myself totally just in a different place, and I would be able to communicate with spirit. Like, I got this message, and I was connecting with spirit while I was writing, so it was helping me to channel and put that, into my work, and it was very interesting to experience that. There is another tea which will be available through our store eventually.
Yeah, I'm still waiting for mine, Nimbus. You got yours, mine.
Where the fuck is it? Come on. But it's called Third Eye, or I like to call it Visionary Tea. And you guys, it's amazing. I feel like I'm QVC right now. It's like so
Ooh, pretty.
wonderful. No, this shit is okay. This makes you. It helps me channel. It helps me connect like with the spirit. It helps me dig deep and go like into darker places. Very like mediumship. It helps me with that. This right here is very weird because it's very centered around the headspace. Like when I consumed this, I was just like, this is so weird because my body was grounded and I felt this rush, this like power of energy just right over here, like my third eye, and it was pulling me like up and out. It was just a weird experience. And the dreams, yeah, you'll just have to experience those dreams yourself because we're not talking about those. But those two products are amazing, and you should go to Scarlet's
Did you have some
Cauldron
people for the show?
and find them because her tea is honestly it's pretty awesome.
Oh.
And I'm a tea snob, but it packs power, so that's good shit. What else? Oh, this is a really fun book.
Ooh.
It has like all kinds of like spirits, deities. I love this book. I love Judica though. Judica's awesome. She has a lot of great material, but this just tells like, their name, about them, their, origin. It tells so much about different types of spirits, which is really good to know. Everyone should have it.
I also know that some people might find it creepy in a way, but not me. I've gotten used to it. I mean, it took me a little bit to get used to this particular one. But, like herbs, they do have spirit, and everything has a spirit. And you can even work with animals that were once here.
Mm-hmm.
This is snakeskin. And that is actually on my little altar bowl for Marie, since she had a snake. But you can work with the qualities of a snake and use the skin, and it still contains that snake spirit.
Right.
But people are like, oh, well, once it's dead, no, that's not the case.
No.
You can still use.
Yeah.
You can still use, whatever you need to from that snake, or use it against people, or...
Yeah, there's so much, and everything has a spirit, everything has that connection. So if you're a witch and you're denying that, you're not working with it, you're not building that, you're missing out.
Yeah.
Another thing that I really like is the Tura. It's just working with the spirit itself. Holy shit! Like,
it's loud.
Yes, and mean. It's mean as fucking hell. Mean. So if you're new and you're like apprehensive, don't work with Detroit because this bitch is mean.
Wait a while.
Like, we're saying, be nice and don't be rude. This is a rude ass bitch. This because Detroit knows what Detroit knows, and it's not gonna mess around. But it's amazing. The spirit work that you can do with Detroit is phenomenal. Once you work your way up to that.
Yeah, don't rush into Datura. That will not be fun. And we won't fix you if you do.
No, because we just warned you. We'll just eat some popcorn, be like, oh, you got Datura.
Yeah, so if you didn't come to us after what we just told you not to do and said that you did it and now you need help, we're going to be like, well, you watched the video. Sorry.
I know. Okay, so, and we also have the group, which the group is only for serious practitioners who are going to actually talk. There's no peeping toms, perverts that are going to be watching all over the place, No, you got to be active. But we would love to discuss this topic in the group, so if you're not part of the group, come join the group. and start talking. If you have questions about spirits, if you have questions about spirit work, ask them in the group. We might not respond automatically because we have lives and we got shit to do, but it's a good discussion to have because there's so many people in that group that need to start, talking. Otherwise, I'm going to delete them. But it'd be a great conversation to have, and it's something that we need to start talking about because so many witches that are being supposedly born or becoming witches lack the basics and the knowledge of what we do, what we are.
Well, that's just dark in here. That's just like that's just like witches that do like the pendulum, tarot, oracle, any other forms of divination, but they don't want to work with spirit. Well, if you don't want to work with spirit, then you can't work with any of those tools because it's just not going to work without the spirit.
Well, you know what's funny? Snake.
Oh, that's a pretty deck.
That's creepy. It is a pretty deck. So true, though, because divination is spirit work. We work with. It's not just cards. There's so many people though who think that it's just cards and you just read the cards. For me, it's more than that. You connect with the spirit. You connect with your higher self. You connect with something. You connect with something that is assisting you and aiding you into interpreting because you have so many different energies that are coming at you when you're reading that it's not just cards. They're not just cards. Or your pendulum. I have no patience for pendulum, though. It's too...
I use that once in a great while. Maybe 3 to 4 times a year. That's it. I think they're beautiful, but I don't...
They're so pretty.
It's not my choice. It's not my choice of divination.
It's boring. I don't know how...
Yes or no? I'd rather have a conversation.
I think Mary... She does pendulum really good, I think.
Yeah, she uses her pendulum.
I know. You suck, Mary. I have no patience for it. I'm like, fuck you. I'm talking to the spirits. Not this pendulum because you're not moving the right way and you're boring me. But some people are amazing at it. They love it, and that's great. But always remember that when you're working divination, you're working spirit.
Yep.
All
of that divination, all those tools, you're working with spirit. You can't work it and be successful without spirit.
And, even I think more importantly, no matter what a witch does, they're working with spirit. There is spirit all around because spirit is attached to us. It's in what we are, So no matter what, there is going to be spirit overseeing, working with, and if you're actually conscious of that spirit, if you're aware, your work is just so much more fulfilling.
Yeah, it is.
Call me the Louise Hay of witchcraft. I don't know. Did we forget to talk about anything that we were going to talk about?
No, I think that was it.
Don't be scared, motherfuckers. That's my get it is. Don't
be scared. Don't be rude.
If you're rude, just think about this. If you're rude, you're in physical, okay? You're here right now. If you're rude to a spirit, they're all around you. They will find you. They will stalk you. They will travel. They'll mess your work shit up. So if you're rude to a spirit at home or wherever the hell you are, they don't have the limitation that you have. They can go find you. They will find whatever. They will go find someone you like across the country. They'll fuck them up, make them, mad at you. They'll do whatever they have to. Because if I was a spirit, that's what I would do.
Well, I see it like this. Simply put, if you're rude to a spirit, then you get what you deserve then from them. Whatever they do to you, you deserve it because you were rude.
Yeah, and okay, so let's say you are rude to a spirit, and let's say you have a negative experience, blah, blah, blah. You can make that up, Just start talking, start apologizing. Apologize for what you did, but don't allow a spirit to make you feel so guilty where you just grovel. We're witches, and so we are not underneath, we are not above, we are equal. And from my experience, like we said earlier, my deities, the spirits that I work with, have much more respect for someone who talks to them versus someone who's like, oh, Maria Isis, please, or oh my God, they don't like someone who is on their knees begging and thinking that a witch has power. A witch changes. A witch does what a witch needs to do. So they have more respect and they want to do more for someone who's knowing their worth, knowing their power, knowing what they can do.
Well, that's like I really hate when I can't remember where the hell I heard it from. Somebody, I think it was a group.
Bob.
Somebody said that your altar, you're doing work at your altar, and that you should always be on your knees.
That's for a different thing.
I've never gotten on my knees. I talk to my deities. I talk to my spirits like I'm talking to Michael. I what I mean? And it's just, I don't know, I just think it's kind of weird. I don't think that's really a personal relationship. I think that's more of like a fear relationship in a way. You're lowering yourself to them and talk to them face to face, eye level with each other, and with respect, and you'll get a lot further.
Right. I mean, if you feel like you should kneel, that is totally on you. But know why. Like, don't kneel because you think it is something that they're higher than you, that you need to kneel and show that they're, to make it seem like they are, and that you're lower than them. Don't kneel for that reason. No.
I remember going to a Catholic church for the first time.
Oh, no.
I didn't kneel, and I didn't kneel before I entered the pew, and you know how many people looked at me? They're like, aren't you going to kneel? I said, for what? Well, you got to kneel for him. I'm like, well, he's not mine, so I don't have to do shit.
I have done that, and it is so weird, because everyone's kneeling, and then it's like that, what is it, that movie, Children of the Damned, and they all at once look, and it's like, oh, hi. I ain't kneeling, sorry. That shit is uncomfortable. That whatever you have to kneel on, that doesn't have any comfy anything on it. So no, I'm not kneeling.
Well, Catholic church is a good exercise because you're always standing, kneeling, sitting, standing, kneeling, sitting, the whole 2 hours. So, I mean, I guess it's a good church to get exercise at, but kneeling for somebody who's not my deity, and for even my own deities, I don't even kneel. I talk to that person.
Yeah, and I don't even have I really can't say that I have respect for a deity. I don't know. I don't have respect for the people, so I won't. I'm gonna get myself in trouble. I'm just not gonna say anything. I won't kneel. I've never kneeled on my altar. Like, what's the point? My altar's like up here. The fuck? I'm gonna kneel and I'm like talking to my my shelf. I'm like, no. I'm like, I can do this. Hi.
That's just like her right here.
Aww.
We're level, that she's on my desk, and, well, it's a lot of people. She's not a deity, but she's one kick-ass woman. And that's all that matters. And
we were talking about that last night. I have a lot of respect for people, spirits of that nature. They were powerful, like Medea, and they are not deities. They were people. They're spirits now, and that is so exciting because, let's say they are witches.
Yeah.
They were something. They were witches. They were a person, but they had powerful influence, and they had magical skills or skills that got them what they needed, and that is fucking awesome.
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
But she sits right there. I mean, I don't get lower, and usually when I come in here to light her candle in the morning, I don't stand like above her. I'll sit down first.
Right.
And then I'll light my candle and I'll say good morning to her or give her her offering or whatever. Then I'll get up and go about doing my business. and then come back in here and do whatever I need to do for my work. But I don't kneel. I've never knelt. I don't.
No.
I don't know. It feels kind of weird. I guess.
It does feel weird. Like it feels
like a master-slave type thing.
Yes, yes, and not even in the fun, kinky way. It's just.
I
like,
know.
It does feel that way, and I've never. If I kneeled and acted to be like submissive of my deities, I would probably get cunt punched. I'd fucking get throat punched. There would be shit happening. Like, bam! What the fuck are you doing?
Yeah. Well, just like, how is that place? Is it India? I could be wrong. I'm so sorry if I'm wrong. Where they get on their knees and they're like bowing over.
Yeah.
And I couldn't do that. I would be kicked out.
I would be kicked out.
To the religion, but I couldn't do it.
No. Everyone's different, and if that's their practice, they grew up with that. That's their culture. That's power to you.
Yeah. I couldn't do it.
I don't think witches do that, or they shouldn't. Because as a witch, we're just like we're equals. Where it's not about higher, lower. It's about here, power.
Respect.
Just boom.
Conversation. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Get to know the spirits, and if you're not working with a spirit, but yet you're pulling tarot and all that divination, then I just don't see how that's working for you exactly.
There's a lot of snakes.
Sounds pretty good.
Okay, so we need to close up because you got to go to some party.
Yeah.
Is there any like last minute shit that you'd like to say? Any tips? Anything before we say peace?
No, just be respectful. Don't yell. Don't be rude unless you're prepared to get the backlash from that.
Yeah.
Don't do any workings without giving them offerings, because then if you can't give offerings in return, then you're not going to get what you asked for.
Right.
It's common sense, common courtesy, and it's a respectful relationship with both deities and spirits.
Yep. I think the only thing that I will add to that is don't give your full goods out at first. So when you're offering, give them a piece, give them something they like, but don't give the full thing until you receive what you've asked Spirit for. Because if you give someone what they like, this full amazing, let's say, pound cake,
they'll take it out.
Yeah, why are they going to work? They're going to want you to give them something more. They don't have to work for it because they already got it. So just, I would say, add that to that. Be aware of that. Don't always give so much at first. Give a taste, entice, and say, hey, that's it. That's part of a good deal, I'm going to give you this right now. When I see more work coming, or being some progress, we'll talk about something else. When it's completed, that's when you'll get this. And there's nothing disrespectful.
The whole damn cake.
Right. And there's nothing disrespectful about that. So that's kind of what I would say. Watch the entire show because there's a lot of actually really good information. And if you have any questions, you can even post them down in our comment box, but join the group and start a discussion. Let's talk. So that's all I have to say. So I guess, bye, people.
Bye.